Yo, what's up gang? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm answering your comments because I know how many of you have been asking me about what kind of HID kit I have. Is it LED? Is it HID? Is it halogen? Where do you mount it? What color, temperature, all that good stuff. I'm gonna cover everything in today's video. So you guys can either kind of mimic my setup, or if you wanted to do something similar, I'll give you the settings or not settings, but color, temp, and all that good stuff that you guys can kind of pick and choose what works best for you. Without further ado, let's pop the hood on the F30 and I'll show you guys my setup. Sick ass pedals though. All right, so when it comes to lighting, you have a couple different options. You could do LED, you could do HID, you could just do straight halogen, which is most common. That comes in your OEM bulbs, as well as like the depot bulbs come with halogen bulbs, but those give off a really low light and, or not low, it's just not very bright, and it's usually like kind of more of a yellowish tint. And I know a lot of guys want to kind of either match the halos or the angel eyes in color temperature, so I'm going to show you which one kind of works best for that application, but I'll show you guys my setup and then we can kind of dive into HIDs versus LEDs. For starters, these are my USR depot headlights. Shout out USR, these things are awesome. I'm running just the halogen stock bulbs for my high beams because I don't really use them all that often. And then we're gonna be talking about the low beam, which has the projector housing. And then just on the side here, I'm running USR LEDs that are basically a hell of a lot brighter than anything you're gonna find on the market. I can't wait for them to release these. So before we jump into my setup and how I installed it, I wanna talk a little bit about your different options, because you do have a few different options. So like I said before, you have the halogen bulbs, which basically just come in most headlights that you buy, or what you most commonly see in like the auto parts store. They're just a halogen bulb. There's no high intensity light emitting. There's no LED, I forget what that stands for, light emitting diode. So there's none of those. So you're basically just rocking an old school lamp, and that's fine. Just know that the max color temp for that is probably right around 3,500 to maybe upwards to like 4,500, 5,000, which is still gonna give you that kind of yellowish color. And if you wanna do something that's more of a white light, like a true white light that really mimics like the halos that come on the OEM BMW headlights or the depots, it's a very white, really just perfectly white light, and I think they nailed it. But a lot of guys wanna mimic that color when it comes to their low beam. So if you're looking to color match it, you want to be somewhere around, I would say 6 to 6,500 Kelvin is your sweet spot. Right around 5,500 is where you start hitting that white light, and then as you go up from there it gets more blue, and then once you get to like 7,000, 8,000, it gets more of a purple tint, which you don't really want that. So it's really a fine line that you want to kind of stick to. With all my years of changing bulbs and using different bulb companies and headlights and HIDs, I found that 6,000 to 6,500 Kelvin is like the perfect white for me, and I think it matches really well. This HID kit on my car is actually 6,000, so I'll show you what that looks like. It is daytime out, so it won't be too obvious, but hopefully you guys can tell anyways. Now moving on to your options, so HID, halogen, and LED. Let's just pretty much toss halogen out of the window because that's probably what you're upgrading from and you don't want to put in more halogens. LEDs are very, very cool because there's no startup time, so when you turn them on, or when you turn the car on and the headlights come on, there's no warm-up time, so it's just instantly on and instantly as bright as it's going to be. Whereas HIDs, when you turn it on initially, it's gonna warm up. So it's actually gonna look really blue when you first turn it on until it gets nice and hot, and then it'll be at that nice white light. Now, that process takes between 20 seconds, 30 seconds, somewhere in that ballpark for the lights, the HIDs, to kind of get to their full color temp. Pretty much if you're looking between LED and HID, the only thing you really need to look at is, do you have room for the LEDs? Because in the depots and the OEM BMW projector, halo headlights, whatever, there's not a whole lot of room between the back of the headlight and that piece of plastic, which I'll show you in a minute, that covers up the wheel well. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because LEDs have, instead of like an HID kit where they have a separate ballast and a separate warning canceller, LEDs sometimes have a warning canceller, but in fact, the bulb on the back side is a lot bigger. So on the HID, your bulb is like this big, but on an LED, it's like this big, because there's this much bulb and about this much of a cooling system. I don't know the technical terms around it, but it's often what you see. It's like a ball looking thing on the end of the bulb, and that's actually used to distribute the heat from the LED, because LEDs do run pretty hot. So that basically is on there to keep the bulbs cool. Now the problem that I was saying is that adds an extra inch and a half onto your bulb, so it may not have enough room to actually fit in the housing. And to be honest, I haven't had any experience with LEDs on the F30, though I do definitely want to try it. And I think if USR, I believe they do, I definitely want to upgrade to their LED systems and see if I can fit that in the F30, because I think that would look mint. My setup specifically is a Kenson HID kit. I will put a link down below to their Amazon. They have great reviews, they're a great price. I think I paid like 25, 30 bucks at the time for it, and I've been rocking this setup for about 2 years, so it's done me well. Like I said, I do want to upgrade to USR at some point, but I'll tell you about the Kenson. Kenson HID kit has been phenomenal as far as like any issues. I haven't had any except for the warning cancelers. When I first bought the HID kit, I didn't buy the cancelers because they said you may not need it. So I installed it, and in fact the bulbs were flickering a little bit. So I reached out to Kenson. They said, yep, we'll just send you some warning cancelers, which also act as flickering cancelers. I don't even know what I'm saying. Flickering cancelers. So you can just basically add that. And you know what? They sent it to me for free. They just reaffirmed my address to ship it to, and 2 days later I had my warning cancelers, which is one reason why I haven't changed from Kenson, is their customer service is phenomenal. I actually had a buddy who got a set, and almost a year later his one bulb went out, and he reached out to him. And you know, most companies like a year later would just say, oh, you need to buy new ones. They sometimes burn out. No, Kenson just sent him 2 new bulbs for free to his house. It was dope. I just can't speak highly enough about Kenson. For like an Amazon-based company, they're really good. I'm really impressed and really happy with the results that I've had for the last 2 years. Now, not all HID companies are treated equally. I first bought these depots from USR, installed them, and immediately I ordered I don't even want to say the company, but I do want to say the company because I'm not usually one to bash companies, but I was so unimpressed by these guys, and the fact that they were so top tier and very expensive on the market, it really left just a bad taste in my mouth, I guess. So Morimoto is the company, and right after I bought my USR depots, I knew I wanted HID, so I went ahead and bought the Morimoto kit. I got it. One of the bulbs didn't even work, and it was basically broken out of the box. I reached out to them. No, I take that back. I tried reaching out to them for weeks. They don't have a phone number. They don't have an email. All they have is that stupid web form on their website that says like, reach out to us and we'll get back to you in a timely manner. Well, I did that 3 times and no one got back to me in a month, so I decided, screw it, I'm not doing this HID kit. And that's when I upgraded to Kenson, and I never looked back. And Morimoto, if you see this, get a phone number, work on your customer service, because it's not where you want to be in the automotive lighting company. It's competitive, man. You got to be good. You got to be awesome out there. All right, so I'm rambling on a lot, but let's jump into my settings for the HIDs. So like I said, when you turn on the HIDs versus LEDs, they do take time to warm up. So what I was recommended by Kenson is you really don't want to have it in this automatic setting here, because that basically it's a less powerful setting for the lights to turn on. So when the HID kit turns on, it's actually not getting as much power as it really needs, which will just lead to you burning out the HID kit a lot faster. So the remedy for that is I leave mine off when I'm not using my lights, and then obviously you can turn this on just to turn the halos on, and then use this setting to turn on your halos and your HID kit or low beams. This setting in fact gives a lot more power initially to the HIDs, so you can actually turn them on with a reasonable power setting and you don't risk burning them out. It's actually kind of chilly out today. I got the elevated hoodie on. It's been like 60 degrees, so I've been rocking between the elevated tee and the elevated hoodie, but today was more of a hoodie day. I love these things, man. I rock this thing like every day. So if you guys haven't checked out the website, please go check it out. Support the channel. Help me keep making these videos for you guys, and pick up some merch. The hoodies are dope, the tees are dope. It's almost summertime, so I hope you guys are gonna be repping some sweet apparel. Let's jump back under the hood and I'll show you what I'm talking about with the warning cancelers and how I have the bulbs set in the actual housing itself. All right, so this is gonna be really hard to show you guys because I'm in the sun right now, but it's not even gonna do justice. But basically you have a panel right back here that you just push down on the 2 tabs, and this whole thing should lift right out, and it comes out like so. Again, don't know if the camera picks that up, but this is your housing right here for your low beam. So you just pull that back, and right in there is where you plug in the bulb itself. You just pop the tab through. You will need to cut a hole in this piece of plastic here to fit this grommet, which is a piece of cake and not a problem at all. Okay, so now coming up here, again, I have the ballast set here, and this is the warning canceller that I was talking about, which just plugs right into the bulb. Super easy, it's color matched, you really can't mess it up. But this is what basically gets rid of the flickering, so you won't have to worry about the bulbs either burning themselves out faster or again flickering, which no one likes. And then on the other side, this runs from the bulbs to the ballast, so everything is powered up nicely. One thing I did want to talk about that's really important, and one issue that I had when I was installing the Kenson kit, is the bulbs themselves. So when you come off the bulb, there's that like little round piece of plastic that is the bulb's mounted to, which is ideally supposed to fit into the housing, and you like turn it and then put the little clamp over it so it stays nice and put. Now the Kenson kit didn't really have the I don't know what to call them. They're like a little ridge where the clips sit into to really keep it nice and strong on there. It's on there and like the clip's on, but the bulb has some play, and I didn't really like that. So no lie, what I did was I took some double-sided tape. I did a really thin line of tape around that piece of plastic on the front, like the bulb side, so that way when I put it in, it's actually stuck on. Oh, let me put the camera down. So when I put the bulb into the housing, like that, the tape sticks right here, and that keeps it from moving. I was a little weary about putting like a rubberized plastic type of tape in a housing like that because of just the heat, I guess. But I really haven't had any issues, and they've been really dry. There's been no problems with overheating or water or moisture getting in, so that actually worked great for me. If and when USR maybe sends me some new LEDs or HIDs, I will redo this video like a version 2 and show you guys the full install. Unfortunately, it is kind of a pain in the ass to take them out and then retape them back up and put them in just for video purposes. So I'm gonna wait until my HID kit dies or I get something new to replace it with, and then I'll make another video of how to actually do the install. But I think I'm doing a pretty good job of explaining it. But if I missed anything, please put your comments down below. Any questions at all, I can definitely do my best to get back to you. This video is being made because of your comments. A lot of people were commenting that they wanted to see this and how I set it up. So I do read the comments, I do listen to your concerns, and just put it down there if you have anything to say. One other thing you can do once you get the bulbs installed, and I'll show you, is actually aim the headlights. So you've got a couple options for aiming them. This right there, this like little Allen key hole right there, you basically put an Allen key right into here, and then you can twist it to raise or lower the beam. And then there's one more right there, and I believe that one adjusts it side to side. So this one I believe is side to side, this one here is up and down, and obviously you've got the same settings on this side. The best way to aim your bulbs is to obviously do it when it's not daytime, do it when it's dark out. Pull about 10 to 15 feet away from a very flat wall. Make sure your car is on a level surface and face the wall so your beam is hitting the wall. And you want to kind of maybe take a tape measure and figure out how high up you want the beam to go or where you want it to sit, and then you just go ahead and play with those until you get the settings that you like. So a lot of people don't know that you can actually change the beam. Sometimes out of the factory it doesn't really come totally straight, so you do need to tweak it a little bit, but that's pretty easy. So I'm just going to turn some power onto the car like so, and we'll get the bulbs turned on. Check out those fog lights, hella yellow, but these are the HIDs, so like that's more of like a halogen look. That's a halogen bulb in there with a yellow film, so it's extra yellow, but you get the point. And this is an HID. So you can see the beam of the halo is probably about a 55,000, maybe 5,500, and the beam of the HID kit is about 6,000, so that's why it looks a little bit bluer, but it isn't really warmed up 100%, and honestly at night it matches a lot better, but I actually kind of like that bluish tinge because I don't know, it just fits. There's the other side. So really bright, really nice light. I mean, this is even daytime. You can clearly see how bright that is. Let me go ahead and try and turn the high beams on so it'll be like a comparison of the halogen versus the HID. Okay, so now we've got the HID kit and the high beam on. So that's a really good idea of what I'm talking about with color temp. So you can see how orange or yellowish that bulb is. That's just a stock halogen high beam bulb. And then when you look on the right side, it's obviously a lot bluer, or a lot more white, I guess. But that's kind of the difference there. So HID halogen. So I guess to wrap up this video, I'm sorry it wasn't like a super interesting video. I wanted to make it because it's mainly informative, and I know a lot of you guys have questions on it, so I hope this did help. Again, put any questions, concerns down in the comments below. I will definitely get back to you and help as best as I can. But if you guys are in the market for new depot headlights, depot taillights for your F30, like the LCI upgraded taillights, go head over to USR Auto. They are my sponsor, and I do have a promo code which I will put like right up here, and if you use that promo code when you check out, you can save some money, and then you can thank me later. But with that being said, don't forget to head to the website and pick up some merch. I've got the t-shirts and the hoodies. There's not a whole lot left in stock, so pick it up while you still can. New drop coming very soon, so stay tuned for that. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope this video helped you out. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.